President Biden has announced his run for re-election. The president kicked off his 2024 campaign with a 3-minute video posted online this morning. Biden says he's waging a battle for the soul of America. He says he began that fight when he first ran for office 4 years ago, a job he says that is still not done.
Let's finish this job. I know we can, because this is the United States of America. There's nothing, simply nothing we cannot do if we do it together.
Biden spoke at a union conference this afternoon, touting his administration's progress on jobs and the economy. But polls show he has his work cut out for him. His approval ratings are some of the lowest in history. Joining us now to talk about this and more is NewsNation Chief Washington Correspondent Blake Burman. Blake, polls show the biggest concern about Biden is something he can't change. It's his age. He's already the oldest American president in history. How does he plan to address these concerns?
The White House was asked about this today, Elizabeth, about the president's age, because you're right, poll after poll shows that it is a top concern among American voters, and we'll get in those numbers in a second. But this was part of their response. They said, look, the president was asked about this in 2020 when he ran then. They note that, oh, by the way, he won that election, and they also made the case that since coming into office, he's been able to implement a lot of the policies that he said he would. So that was part of the White House response today. But you're right, the polls continue to show that this is a key concern among voters, and that includes Democrats. For example, I want to show you one poll here. It comes from CBS News. It shows that when you look at Democrats and Democratic-leaning independents, 45% of that group say they do not believe the president should run again. And then when you even drill down in that sample, nearly 9 in 10 cite the president's age as one reason why. So we took a look, Elizabeth, at just how that sort of compares the president's age to other politicians here in Washington. Here's the numbers. Between 80 to 89 years old, there's currently 18 different members of Congress in that age range. The average age in the House, 58 years old. The average age in the Senate, 64 years old. President Biden currently right now, Elizabeth, as you know, 80 years old. If he were to be reelected, 82, and finish his term at 86.
In the meantime, Blake, this campaign is going to look very different from the race in 2020 when the world was in the grips of the pandemic and, you know, basically people were campaigning from their basements. He's going to be out and about and people will actually get to see how fit he is.
Yeah, and that was one of the complaints. Obviously, there was a lot that none of us could control, but one of the complaints was that the president didn't really get out on the road, didn't really campaign, that he was campaigning from his basement. He was basically off the road for the entire summer of 2020. NewsNation is told that it was conveyed to surrogates earlier today, Elizabeth, that it shouldn't really expect the president to do a lot of campaign travel this calendar year, the thinking being that he still holds the biggest job on the planet, or certainly one of them, being the president of the United States. And Democrats feel that the president needs to highlight some of his achievements, what they view as achievements, and really contrast that against Republicans. One issue, for example, that we saw today was the president talking about the debt limit and the debt ceiling. But when we get into 2024, certainly you'll expect to see the president out on the road a lot more than what we saw him in 2020.
Absolutely. All right. Blake Burman, thanks so much for that.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.